In the headlines, EFCC boss says number of governors on watch list has increased. Police arrest 2 terrorists, recover weapons, repel planned attacks on Zamfara communities. 133 million Nigerians are poor, according to Poverty Index released by National Bureau of Statistics. And away from Nigeria, 2 killed in second Kenyan building collapse this week. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, on Thursday said that the number of governors on its watch list has increased. Bawa disclosed this while briefing reporters at the State House after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, the EFCC boss, who declined to say the number of governors currently under their radar, also did not reveal their identities. The EFCC boss further affirmed that the anti-corruption agency is pleased with the redesign of the Naira note, explaining that the policy will help the Central Bank of Nigeria control the monies in the system and, by extension, enable more money for people to borrow.
But I do know that value of the currency, of course, can be brought into some real economic activities. But from what we are seeing these days, the dollar is up at 90 and then it is down 690. What happened? Is it that we have all of a sudden within 10 days carried out some, certain, miraculous economic activities to warrant, the crashing of the USD, and then we just realize that it's just about speculation. Majority of these, transactions on USDs that is happening, on the streets and among individuals are not for any economic reality. They are just using it as a means to store value. And that is why it can go up and that is why it can come down. And as a Nigerian, I wish, of course, let the dollar come down to what? To 200 naira, so that at least we will not be, relying on imported goods, but rather to build our own economy here and then we'll move on, we'll take it on from there. And we believe with this issue of naira redesign and with the good government policies that is being pushed, dollar is going to crash to 200 naira, God willing.
Zamfara State Police Command has repelled terrorist attacks and arrested 2 suspects identified as Sujora Al-Madawi and Baghi Muhammad from different locations in the state. The command's public relations officer, Superintendent Mohammed Shehu, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. The police in Zamfara state have arrested 13 suspects, including terrorists, kingpins, in its ongoing efforts to flush out suspected criminals and restore peace in the state. The report.
The police in Zamfara state have arrested 13 suspects, including terrorist kingpins, in its ongoing efforts to flush out suspected criminals and restore peace in the state. The public relations officer of the state command, Superintendent Mohammed Shehu, who paraded the suspect on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Kolo Yusuf, said the command had recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 1 Beretta pistol, 35 rounds of live ammunition, hard drugs, bunch of charms, wrappers, among others.
Police operatives, while on surveillance patrol using Gusau Metro, intercepted and arrested the aforementioned suspect. On spot search, large quantity of dried leaf, suspected to be Indian hemp, and different types of hard drugs were recovered in their possession. Intelligence information revealed that the suspected Indian hemp and drugs will be supplied.
He said the police also arrested suppliers of hard drugs to the terrorists in the forest in Zamfara state, northwest Nigeria, and they had all confessed to the crimes.
We have succeeded in arresting this suspect as they are currently undergoing discreet investigation, and they are assisting the police with information that will lead to the arrest of their partners in crime.
The police said all suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded.
In a similar vein, the Delta State Police Command says it has arrested a suspected kidnapper, Isiaku Muhammad, and recovered an AK-47 rifle and 59 rounds of ammunition. The Commissioner, Ari Muhammad Ali, who disclosed this at a briefing on some of the command's latest successes, said that the command also arrested some gun runners and recovered 42 locally made guns, 6 double-barrel guns, as well as 3 pump-action guns. Also within the period under review, the command, according to the CP Ali, apprehended a suspected self-kidnapper, murder and arson suspect Emmanuel Ojedibe, accused of murdering a sex worker and defrauding his father of 4 million naira as ransom after staging his own kidnap. The commissioner also noted that the command arrested one James Idowu, an armed robbery suspect, and recovered a stolen vehicle from him. While appreciating residents of the state for their support to the police, the commissioner encourages them to continue to partner with the police by providing the command with useful and timely information that will aid in crime fighting, noting that the identities of those who volunteer information will be treated with utmost confidentiality. The Federal High Court in Abuja has discontinued a suit filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, against the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Abubakar. Kanu had filed the suit through his special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, seeking, among other reliefs, an order of the court directing the defendants to pay him the sum of 20 billion naira, being general and exemplary damages. The suit, which was before Justice Inyang Eko, sought to challenge the manner Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya. According to Ejimako, the suit was discontinued for strategic reasons that will be inappropriate and unprofessional to disclose publicly. Justice Inyang Eko had fixed Friday, November 18 for the hearing of the matter. However, Kanu's counsel announced today that the suit has been discontinued. National Chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Aburi, says that Nigeria's political elites are fueling regional politics ahead of the 2023 elections with a view to polarize the electorate along primordial sentiments and fault lines. Aburi said this at the party's national secretariat during an audience with supporters from the northern parts of the country. Shafiu Suleiman reports.
National leaders of the Labour Party as they demonstrate some dance steps in response to the melody of trumpeters from the northern part of the country. The sound of the trumpets is coming at the time stakeholders in the nation's polity continue to raise concerns over the rising hate speeches and incitements by politicians to woo the electorate upon using regional or religious biases.
Today, the number of out-of-school children is more in the north. The northern region, as of today, has more poor people than in the south. In 2015, the number of out-of-school children in the north was 7 million children. As of today that you have a northerner as president, the number of out-of-school children is above 20 million out-of-school children. In 2014, President Goodluck Jonathan built Amajiri schools and removed a lot of Amajiris from the streets, provided them with education, provided them with food, catered for those children. But today, the Amajiri schools are no more. They have been abolished, even by somebody who is from the northern part of the country.
Aburi says Nigerians should resist such dangerous narratives as poverty, economic hardship, amongst other challenges, do not segregate based on religion, region, and ethnicity.
The person from the north doesn't buy garri cheaper than the person from the south. Inflation does not know who is a northerner nor who is a southerner. But what is key to us is that the political oligarchy in Nigeria, whether from the north, south, and so on, have been using religious, tribal, and ethnic sentiments to continue to divide the poor people and continue to exploit them.
Regional, ethnic, and religious biases are deployed during electioneering to attract support and sympathy of the voting population, relegating competence, capacity, reputation, and integrity of the candidates to the background. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Northeast Fulbe pastoralists have endorsed the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar ahead of Nigeria's crucial 2023 general election. They made the endorsement in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. Salis Lawan reports that the pastoralists also appealed for protection for grazers and adequate access to grazing areas and water point. The report.
At an endorsement event put together by thousands of Fulani pastoralists under the auspices of Fulaku from the northeastern part of the country, the group said the 2023 poll is too critical for Nigerians to joke with.
Let me make it here clear to us that Fulbe Northeast in the Northeast geopolitical zone has been following activities of all the political leaders in the region and have endorsed His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, GCON Waziri Adamawa, as our choice for the President of Nigeria post 2023 general election. We have equally endorsed His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmad Umar Fintiri of the PDP in Adamawa State, our gubernatorial candidate.
While justifying their decision to endorse Atiku to be the Nigeria's next president, the Northeast Fulani Pastoralist Group said they have gotten support of their members across the region.
We endorse it for so many reasons, because of his contributions towards the Fulanis in Nigeria and the more contribution that he did during his vice president, when he was a vice president in Nigeria. He did so many contributions to our business, that is Fulani rearing activities.
When you see a Fulani man, a separate color, like taking oath that he can do this, so there's no going back. Therefore, we endorse Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Waziri Adamawa, and His Excellency Governor Ahmad Umar Fintiri. There's no checking, no going back, inshallah.
They also solicited the inclusion of members, especially youth and women, in all the empowerment and social intervention programs of the government. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at why Africans do not respect time. Details of this and more after the break. Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. Here's a recap of our top stories. EFCC boss says number of governors on watch list has increased. Police arrest 2 terrorists, recover weapons, repel planned attacks on Zamfara communities. Now, over 500 secondary school students from the Northeast region have participated in the annual Northeast Festival of Literature, Culture and Creativity in Gombe State. Organizers of the annual festival said that the event was organized to provide a platform for the youths to discover their talent. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Students representing various secondary schools across the 6 states of the Northeast region participated in the annual Northeast Festival of Literature, Culture and Creativity. Organizers said the event will help the youth to discover their talent and discourage them in political thuggery or other forms of criminality.
Basically, what we want to achieve is to encourage youths. Like I said, when we started this program, it was when in the heat of Boko Haram crisis, when a lot of youth were being asked to join Boko Haram because of poverty. You know, some of them were saying that, okay, at least they will get some money by joining insurgency. And a lot of people are being enticed. Even today, we see politicians using these youths, giving them stipends to go and perpetrate evil. But if we give them an opportunity, they are able to stand on their own. They will not perpetrate this evil. So our intention, what we want to achieve is to ensure that we have youths that are able to stand on their feet and will not venture into any kind of violence or anything that will become detrimental to the society. So this is what we intend to achieve, and at the end of it all, to create a harmonious and a peaceful society.
Participants who exhibited extraordinary performance and received various prizes spoke on the experiences gained during the festival and the way forward.
This is a program mainly for writers, poets, and then artists. That is people who used to draw, paint, and then dress. It is a place where people come to share creativity, display talent, and a lot of things.
Yeah, for plan, actually, I can say this is just the beginning, because one of the intention of me coming here is that actually I can.
It's really challenging and it lets you bring out the creativity.
These young Nigerians need support from the government and other stakeholders in the educational sector to further develop their talent and creativity in literature. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Now, the term African time has over the years become part of Nigerian lexicon as a subtle reference to improper time management, or better put, lateness to events. In this report, Noel Samson got the reactions of some Nigerians concerning time management.
Time management is a process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on specific activities, especially to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. Over time, Nigerians have been adjudged to be bad time managers, especially in areas of attending events on time. This phenomenon led to the notion of African time for the continent and indeed Nigerian time for the country.
We have seen instances where we appear to events early and the event does not start early. So it has given people the incentive that going to events early is like time wasting. And it's a cultural thing that because even in church, even in religious events, we find that many times people attend events lately.
Events organized by Nigerians start behind time because it's a general attitude. Nigerians do not have respect for time, so both the organizers and the attenders are not conscious of time, so we usually have that deficit in starting on time.
We Nigerians, we believed in African time. Like if I have a flight tomorrow, 8 a.m., I know how to do my things to meet up the flight. But when it comes to program like this, we find it difficult to make it up to the program. Maybe we feel like, well, once I reach there at any time, I'm okay.
Nigerians, however, are not oblivious of the effects of the improper time management on productivity, as well as how to manage the situation.
Time is money. A popular Nigerian even made a hit track on that. So already we know that it affects our time. And if Nigeria's most productive city is Lagos, and people in Lagos spend an average of 6 hours in traffic. So it tells us that we are wasting billions.
Yeah, the impact of African time on productivity is that it hampers the essence of the event.
Discipline for time in Nigeria is something that is not really put in place mainly because there are few consequences. When we arrive at an event late, all we just have to say is sorry. In fact, sometimes people do not even say sorry, they just get along with it.
Lack of penalty or punishment for that behavior. So it won't be overcome if there's no penalty or punishment for that behavior.
Effective time management reduces wastage, helps to avoid friction. Proper managing time includes making to-do lists, allocating time to each item from your to-do list, and then scheduling those tasks on your calendar. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The federal government has disclosed that 63% of persons within Nigeria, representing 133 million, are living in poverty. The figure was presented during the launch of Nigeria's Multidimensional Poverty Index survey in Abuja on Thursday. It was conducted by the National Bureau of Statistics, the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office, the United Nations Development Programme, the United Nations Children's Fund, and the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. The measure used to calculate the figure was based on multidimensional poverty index with 5 components of health, living standard, education, security, and unemployment. The survey, which sampled over 56,000 households across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, conducted between November 2021 and February 2022, states that 65% of the poor, 86 million people, live in the north, while 35%, nearly 47 million, live in the south. And speaking at the event, President Muhammadu Buhari said that the index was adopted because it provides ways poverty could be identified and tackled with policies. The National Cooperative Financing Agency of Nigeria said that the federal government is working to provide financial inclusion products to Nigerians to help ease the economic burden faced by the citizenry across the board. This was disclosed at a forum which had a cross-section of practitioners from the public and private sectors to brainstorm on harnessing cooperative financing in Nigeria. Christiana Amodu reports.
Low-level income, poverty, illiteracy, among others, have hindered financial inclusion in Nigeria, whose current rate is at 64%. To seek respite, groups of people came together to form Adashi, as it is popularly called in the northern part, or Susu, Ajo in Yoruba, and this metamorphosed into organized cooperatives. Consequently, cooperatives have been useful in the development of a critical pillar for driving inclusion, and how to enhance access to financial inclusion products is a focus at this summit.
And financial inclusion actually is to ensure that the informal sector are included in the financial ecosystem. A lot of Nigerians are engaged profitably in their private endeavor. But for the fact that those elements that make up financial inclusion products like pension, housing, insurance are not available for such people. And such people are under our control and mentorship. So we deem it fit that at this summit, we should be able to open their eyes.
It has not been reported. It has not been captured because we do our things in most cases silently. We are trying now to open up and let people know, let the world know that cooperatives is contributing immensely to the development of the country.
Representatives from the Central Bank of Nigeria and Federal Mortgage Bank assured Nigerians of collaboration to help deepen financial inclusion penetration.
We are reforming a lot of things. We are making a lot of issues easier for them so that they will be able to access this loan and build houses to promote home ownership for the members of the cooperative societies.
I urge all participants at this summit to participate actively by way of knowledge sharing, interactiveness, and recommendations to further enhance the financial inclusion objectives for the sustainable growth of an inclusive economy in Nigeria.
Aside this event, Nigeria will also bring together stakeholders in the Maiden International Financial Inclusion Conference, where more out-of-the-box approaches in tackling financial inclusion will be brought to the table. Christiana Amodu Otinya, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Ghana is not aware of any threat targeted at its nationals living in Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory In Abuja, the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has said the Ghanaian ministry also disowned a security update advising against non-essential trips to Abuja. The ministry regretted any inconvenience this may have caused to the traveling public and urged Ghanaians in the FCT to continue living in peace with their Nigerian counterparts. The United States and the United Kingdom had in October warned of possible terror attacks in Abuja, especially at public places. Now, away from Nigeria, a second tragedy in 3 days in the outskirts of Kenya's capital, Nairobi, where a multi-story building under construction on Thursday collapsed on a neighboring home, killed at least 2 people in the outskirts of the capital. Authorities said that housing is in high demand and unscrupulous developers often bypass regulations, with construction authorities warning of unsafe buildings. 3 other people have been rescued alive from the family home that was next to the collapsed building located in the Ruaka suburb. Last month, a woman and her children were also killed when a building collapsed and buried them in their own house. After building collapses in Kenya in 2015, the presidency ordered an audit to see if the country's buildings were up to code. The National Construction Authority found that 58% of the buildings in Nairobi were unfit for habitation. In sports news, former UFC champion Israel Adesanya has been released after being briefly detained at a New York airport on Wednesday following an attempt to go through security with brass knuckles. Adesanya was arrested on Wednesday at a JFK terminal for possession of metal knuckles. Brass knuckles made of metal or plastic are illegal in New York, and their possession is considered a misdemeanor punishable up to 1 year in prison plus fines. A statement by the Adesanya's manager, Tim Simpson, of Paradigm Sports Management disclosed that the Nigerian-New Zealand mixed martial artist has already been released and has been flown home to New Zealand. Adesanya had been in New York for several days as he prepared for his fight against Alex Pereira in the main event at UFC 281. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ile. Thanks for watching.